Oh, there's Courtney. She's here early. Oh my goodness. Okay. We are just going to say hello. Welcome, everyone. Oh, we have Natalie, Deanna. Welcome, welcome. It is Matchmaker Monday. I'm Carmelia, and I'm so excited because today I am featuring a number of women, but today's episode is all about or centered around women in dating. And I can't think of a better person to have here with us than Courtney Kovacevich. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Where is she now? I'm going to bring her up. Oh my gosh, her image is her NFT that I'm going to have her talk about, which is really, really cool. So let's get Courtney here and let's give her a round of applause, please. We're going to say hi to Courtney. All right, Courtney, I've invited you up. I think you just have to accept the invitation. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. So this is your first time on Fireside, right?
It is. It is. It's my
I don't
first
know. I don't know
time.
if it's your first time.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if it's your first time, is it?
No, it is. It's my first time, and it's very cool. Wow. I was just saying about how great the technology is and how interesting it is that there's so many different communities you can join. Yeah.
Absolutely. And by the way, for your purposes, if this is your first time as well, if you touch on my face, it makes us a little bit bigger, right?
Okay.
But if you touch back, then you'll see everybody else. So we have people in the live audience. They can react. We can ask questions. And we're going to have some people joining us as well. So Courtney, am I saying your last name correctly? Can you enunciate for me?
Yeah. No. You've done very well. My last name is Kovacevich.
Kovacevich. Okay, great. And where are you firesiding with us from? Where are you right now?
I am in Los Angeles. Yeah. So I'm in California. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I will be, actually, I'm coming to LA. So would love to do lunch. And I bought, as an early birthday present to me, I'm watching Joe Coy, Filipino comedian based in LA. I got floor seats. He's doing it on my birthday, which is amazing, March 25th. And it's going to be great. I love doing a tour of people that I have not met yet from all of the platforms that I collaborate with, Clubhouse, Fireside, Wisdom. There's nowadays, Courtney, I mean, it's so easy. I feel it's always been easy, but I feel like it's even easier to connect with. So I had an incoming call. I have to figure out how to not have incoming calls impact me. But yeah, it's so great. So tell us a little bit more about women in dating in particular. What was the reason you started it? A little bit more around the birth of women in dating.
Definitely. And I am so grateful that you asked us to be part of your program and that you're also a council member.
Yes.
That means the world. We are only because we exist only because of our council members and our contributors. And so first, just let me thank you for this opportunity to connect with others, both women and supporters, and also those who are like-minded. And especially, obviously, as we think about Women's History Month and then tomorrow being International Women's Day. So,
Yes.
yes, I am in NFTs and I can definitely get into that a little bit later, but I used to run a company that worked with dating apps to make them safer. And because I was running that company, I was buying a lot of media, sponsoring events, attending events. And as I was doing that, I kept seeing and being in rooms that were very much predominantly male. And I came up with an idea to host an all-female panel talking to female founders. I had read a statistic that I think now is oftentimes quoted, which is that in 2020, Harvard Business Review wrote an article around female founders and venture capital, and gave a statistic that female founders get about 2.3% of venture capital. And I think, oh, sorry, that was in 2021. And I couldn't imagine that in 2021, that we were so far behind in any sort of representation of being able to raise money and build the businesses that we can build. And so I had female founders on a panel talking about their experience in all facets of founding a company, and in part, of course, about raising money. And I had outreach from women and people, allies, friends from all over the world talking about how great the panel was and how they wanted more of that. And so we took that panel as inspiration to found the tenets and the core principles of women in dating. And so my co-founder and myself worked for many months to put together the structure of women in dating and then start to build our council members. And I can say that the passion and the commitment existed in the industry. The industry of dating is certainly one that is very committed to women and thinking about products for women and thinking about how to market and build communities for women. But really what we needed was just organization around all of the good work that was happening and how women in dating might be able to bring in all those efforts and create a hub in by which women from all over the world, whether they're in dating or interested in being in dating, or even just excited about the space of online dating, could come and learn from and contribute to help ensure that we forge a path of greater representation and inclusion in industries and in hiring. You know, I think the statistic I read recently was like, of C-suite executives, particular to the US, 24% of C-suite executives are women. And so, you know, we still very much have room for improvement. And so our intention was to build something that would help forge that path and help to inspire women to know that they can do and be and create whatever they want. So
Thank you. I absolutely love that. And I'm actually quite shocked at the 2.3% statistic of venture capital. That seems ridiculous, really, when you're talking about that. And you know, that would make when Whitney Wolf got her investment, you know, one of the small number of women that had access to venture capital, if that was even recorded, and she built $1 billion company, you know. And I think women-led companies, I'd love to see some research on women-led companies, but I'm not surprised that women-led companies would really do well and excel, right? Just in the same when you see women in leadership. So since you started and it launched, did it launch did it launch during the pandemic? Is that what happened?
yeah, exactly. So the Harvard Business Review article was a summary of 2020, but it was published in, I think it was April or May of 2021. So we launched in September of 2021. So just, you know, 7 months ago or something like that, 8 months ago. Yeah.
Wow. And since then, my gosh, I'm seeing the content. It's really great. You've got something going on, which I hope you'll share. But what is there a story or event that you remember most since opening, you know, forming Women in Dating?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that because there's just so much. You know, we act as a central point of communication and access for women and trans women and anybody who really wants to participate and support women. And so we are only as good as the content and the contributors that we have, both as council members and contributors. So we have, just as a basic overview, we have 15 council members that help us to make decisions that build our impact and also help us to forge a path and also recruit great minds who happen to be women into the industry. We also have, I think it's like 10 contributors who work with us to produce and create great content. And all of the content between the contributors and the council members go on to womenindating.com, which is our site. There are so many. I think our first big event that was very exciting is we were asked to speak at Oxford University.
Wow, Oxford University. That's a great, since opening. And did you speak at Oxford?
You know, it's interesting. We extended the invitation to. So one of our council members was speaking and suggested that we come on as a speaker, and so Oxford reached out to us, and they were excited to have us participate. And we extended that invitation to another council member. So you know, we want to do whatever we can to give opportunities for the great apps and council members that work with us to expand their reach and impact. So oftentimes when speaking engagements or opportunities come to us, you know, we will take them to women who are either in that role or in that part of the world. So when we built Women in Dating, we were very much committed to making sure that we had representation from product and tech and marketing and communications and CEOs and COOs, so that we could fully act as a source of information and education for women who are interested in all facets of online dating. So generally, that's the lens that we that is the lens that we look through. We spoke at another university, and one of our contributors went. But probably the story that connects with me most is one of our contributors is this amazing woman. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mom. She is incredible. And her name is Lavagna Reeves. And she started a site called reboundlovers.com. And when we spoke to Lavagna, she had reached out to us because she wanted to create a network of other female leaders in online dating. And in reaching out to us, she had explained that she was a survivor of domestic violence. And that experience inspired really Rebound Lovers, because she left a really terrible situation to create a new life. And there was so much in creating that new life that she was unsure about as it related to like moving on and finding new love. And so we wanted to bring her story to life and be able to have her story create impact for others. And she recently told me that many women who were also survivors of domestic violence reached out to her in support and looking for support after their experiences. And that is an example of what we hope to do every day. So
I love that. And you know what's so funny? What's really synergistic about that, Deanna Wellness is here. She's in the audience member. I will bring her up. She helps women go from trauma to triumph as an intimate partner violence coach. And she'll be speaking a little bit after, because I think it's just so important. And I love that you're giving opportunities to women in dating. Exactly, your mission and your vision is to bring on these women that already have a voice, but it needs to be amplified, and maybe new voices in this space. As you know, Courtney, although dating and matchmaking, you know, there's millions of singles out there. There's just a handful of matchmakers, number one, you know, a smaller community of niche matchmakers. And then, you know, the online dating apps and sites, relatively speaking, I think we're still pretty niche, but we solve some of the most challenging issues. And frankly, I can, you know, say one of the most important choices that we make are our intimate partner choices. As you know, they impact so many parts of our lives. And I often quote Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, her story about losing her husband, and the most important career choice you'll make is the person you choose to marry. And I'm sure you can resonate with that. I'm going to continue this interview right now for those who are just chiming in. I'm with Courtney Kovacevich. She is the founder of womenanddating.com. I am a proud council member. I have some matchmakers here in the audience and love professionals. If you have a question and you'd like to join us on stage, I really want to give the women here voices. Michelle G, hello. If you work with singles or even not, and you might have a question for Courtney, please come on up. I see my good friend, Barbara Majeski. Love her to death. She's also an incredible female and leader in the, not in the love space, but when you have a voice like Barbara, I think it's so important that she's leading the way for other women as well to show, what a badass female can do. She's got it also great on TikTok. I want to continue. As a council member, I know that there's a big launch tomorrow. So can you share with our friends more about this launch and how can everyone support women in dating through this launch?
Yes, exactly. Well, the idea has been in the works for a little bit, and I'm so proud of how it came, how it materialized, and I'm just really excited to bring it to the world tomorrow. So, as everybody I'm sure knows, tomorrow's International Women's Day, a day that we celebrate and recognize women all over the world, and women in dating certainly wants to do our part. And so what we've done is we've created a campaign called Superheroes. And our goal is to identify, recognize, and shine a light on the women who we work with and partner with and collaborate with every day who might be an sort of unsung or unrecognized superhero. And so what we will be doing is we created, to use an NFT term, we created PFPs, so illustrations of each of our council members as superheroes, to thank them for their support and also to recognize each of them as the true superheroes that they are. And then every month, one of our council members, one or two of our council members will nominate a woman to be recognized as a superhero. And then that woman will have an illustration made of herself. So a PFP, it's called a profile picture. It's an acronym that they use in the NFT space. It's basically your avatar. And yeah, and then we'll celebrate that woman, do a nice write-up, and then that'll all be on the Women in Dating site. I certainly welcome anybody who's in the audience now who thinks, who wants to be involved and can think of someone that is truly a superhero among us and really deserves to be recognized and appreciated for their contributions. Like I welcome the outreach. I welcome the recommendations. This is our initial structure, but the more that we can celebrate and highlight women, I trust the more better and broader impact we'll have in inspiring others. So
I love that. And I love my rendition. I love being able that I was able to participate. We have Vernita on deck. Vernita's been in our show, and there's Natalie. Natalie's a member of my team. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So Courtney, every day Natalie is a hero to me.
Oh,
Honestly, she is a hero to me. Barbara! Woo!
Good for you.
that's so sweet. Thank you for saying that. That's lovely.
You're welcome. Barbara, Natalie's a member of my team. She
Hi,
makes
Barbara. Hi, Courtney. Hi, everyone.
all the initial calls on our team. Before they introduce me, she handles a lot of my inquiries and make sure that I follow up with people and when I travel. So she's definitely a hero to me. And Barbara Majeski, she's a hero to the world, in my opinion. This woman has, gotten over stage 4 cancer. She is, really rocking it. She's an on-air TV personality, the Today Show, Nick Cannon Show, all over the place. And she also is another hero. And you guys both deserve PFPs. I will be making nominations. The problem with me, Courtney, is You can't give me enough nominations because it'll have to be from here till like year 2059 because I just am surrounded by so many incredible women. Ladies, Courtney is the founder of womenindating.com. Really, when I started going to conferences, it was the boys club. When I grew up at Together, and Natalie's been with me. I've known her since 1993. Okay, we first worked at a company together when I was, a telemarketer on the phones making appointments. Natalie knew me, and it was all management were men. I love me some men, okay, and I love male leadership, but we're talking about some women right now. Everybody was male. Ask me if my opinion mattered then. We were not in boardroom meetings. We were completely excluded in that. It's come a long way, but it has not, there's more work to do. So Natalie or Barbara, if you have a question for Courtney or a comment or anything around her work as Women in Dating, let me know.
Well, I not per se, but I do have something to say because I remember that time at Together, and I remember exactly what you're talking about, Carmelia. And but I do think that we need to be strong women. We need to be strong and remember who we are, and not really under the umbrella of women, but as an individual. Because we are not in competition with men. We're equal to men. We're equal in our strengths and in our abilities. So yes, but it's funny you mentioned that place because I remember there was a man working there, and he insisted on not really following by the rules, and he was a bit demeaning to me. And I remember snapping my fingers to him, saying, "Excuse me, no, you can come and get it. I'm not going to, be subservient." And, it's interesting because he respected me after that. So it's unfortunate that sometimes we have to stand up for ourselves. But, at the end of the day, it just makes us stronger.
I love that. Barbara, welcome. Thanks for coming up. Thank you.
You invited me up. I'm like, I just got off the Peloton. But to hang out and chit chat with other amazing women, I'm like, let's chat. Yes. I'm from Jersey, so it's talk, TAWK.
Let's talk.
Is there a squeaky noise?
Yeah, I hear it. Oops, there. Okay, it's gone. Okay. And Vernita, as soon as I get a free space, I absolutely want to hear from you as well. So I invited Vernita. Go ahead, Barbara.
Perfect. And I will drop off so I can get unsweaty and disgusting. But, I think you just made a really great point, Natalie. We teach people how to treat us. And by setting boundaries, we're much better off. We feel more respected. It's uncomfortable for sure. But, I'm running a program for women right now that's going so well because I'm teaching women how to respect themselves first. Put our oxygen masks on first. We're such givers, but that's not in anyone's best interest that we pour from an empty cup. But if we take care of us and we start respecting us, our boundaries, our time, our energy, we teach people how to treat us, and people are going to treat us better. We treat ourselves better, other people treat us better, and it has an exponential effect on the relationships we have in our life. So, I'm a big fan of men and men as well, men. But I think we teach them how to treat us, and I have no problem standing in my power. But I've never been mistreated. I was just on a Clubhouse, and I don't know what that crazy.
I don't know what that is either.
I think someone has a cat.
Hold on. Deanna, I'm just going to, Courtney's still on, so I don't know what happened. If you can go to, was it? No, Courtney's still there. So I'm going to invite Courtney to video. Deanna, I'll bring you back up. So if you can turn video off. And Courtney, I'm going to invite you to video because we have a limited number of video spaces. But Barbara, no, stay with me because I want to hear from you. I love that. And Barbara, stay for this conversation real quick because Courtney has moved a little bit. You left dating. She was part of a dating a dating company that verified that participated in safe dating, correct? And now she's moving into this Web3 NFTs. You know, Barb's shaking her head. Barb is looking into that stuff too, right? The real estate, the NFTs. So, Courtney, tell us about why you wanted to join that space. What's that space like for you as a woman as well?
Yeah, great question. One of my favorite things to talk about, because I see this as a critical moment. And so the more women that I can speak with about it, I think the better will be for that. So I have collected art my entire life. I started a company to help artists sell artwork in remote parts of the world. And I started in Africa with a business partner, and one of the artists went viral with a drawing that he did. And so I had said to that artist, like, oh, you should make an NFT. And I had no idea what I was talking about. Even as an art collector, I didn't quite understand NFTs. And as I started to do research to help this artist, I started to realize the impact of blockchain technology and decentralization. And so I immersed myself in NFTs, and I got so excited about the space. And then I was offered an opportunity I just couldn't refuse, which was to run creators at an NFT platform. So I manage all creators, celebrities, athletes, artists, musicians, anybody who wants to make an NFT or NFT collection, I help them. And it's a really interesting time, because the greatest sort of parody or analogy I could give is like, imagine being at the start of Web 1, in the very early 90s or mid 90s, when we were all starting to get our PCs, and technology jobs were starting to come into a bigger way into the sort of career world and offered as career paths. And then you had Web 2, which was Facebook and TikTok and Google and some of these larger platforms in and by which we navigate through the internet. Well, the same evolution's happening now in Web 3, but we have the power to make sure we don't have the same representation as we had in Web 1 and have in Web 2, meaning now is the time for women to come together and help to forge a bigger path, become participants in Web 3, bring in other women to participate, bridge that gap of knowledge and opportunities so that we can ensure the Web 3 that we want to participate in, and the Web 3 we want our friends and families and kids to participate in, is more representative of women. I mean, I still try to find the best statistics that I can, which kind of differ a little bit. But one statistic that I read toward the end of last year through Nifty Gateway, which is a big NFT platform, was that women represented, I think, like 5% of NFT sales. And it is a moment that we can shift that, and we can influence change, and we can influence creation, right? And so there's a lot of really great programs doing it. And NFTs are only part of what Web3 is and the powerfulness of the blockchain. So I am so happy if anybody has any questions about NFTs or blockchain or Web3 to answer those and give great resources that have helped me to create the career that I have now in the space. So
I have one very quick question, because when you say you work with celebrities and influencers, are you allowed to name the company you're with, or are you keeping that? I don't know if you're allowed to name it.
Yeah, totally. Sorry. The company I work for is called Hyper, and it's a Web3 social media platform that has an NFT marketplace. Yeah.
Okay, great. And congrats. That's super cool. So if a regular person, somebody who's great in art and wants to make an NFT, what does I always assume there's this big cost, or you have to have thousands of dollars to launch an NFT. I don't like, because of gas fees and whatever. Is that true? Like, does an NFT project have to be 10,000 apes and 15,000 butterflies, or can you just make one NFT? Or let's say that I'm a matchmaker and I want to do an NFT calendar. I know you can be so creative, and I just want to do an NFT for representing every month of love, or you know what I mean? Or I might want to do a Valentine's Day NFT. Like, what are the costs? I know they vary, but do you have to have thousands of dollars to make an NFT?
No, not at all. So the 10,000 collections that you see, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, is probably the most famous. I'm a member of World of Women, and I really love it. And I can't recommend highly enough just even getting familiar with the community that they have. But no, not at all. There's plenty of platforms where you can create an NFT and you can mint that NFT. Gas fees differ by blockchain, and there's different types of blockchains, but Ethereum is, I believe it's 80% of the NFT market right now. And their gas fees tend to be a little bit more expensive because of the way that the blockchain is made. But there's Solana and there's Tezos, and there's a bunch of other proof of stake, which is basically a more environmentally friendly and a less expensive way to mint and create NFTs. And there are a lot of artists, and there's a lot of personalities creating NFTs. I mean, an NFT is basically a smart contract that gets put onto the blockchain. And that smart contract can be your access point to in real life events or virtual events.
Yes.
Or, there's
They're calling those utilities, right? You're attaching a utility to an NFT, which makes it, like, now it used to be, now it makes it more tangible, because now you're getting a real benefit aside from the digital art. Because a lot of people, they're buying digital art at $1 million, and there wasn't even a utility attached to that, which is crazy. And now, if you're an event person or a love coach and I sell my NFT, and that includes access to me and my community, or my yearly mastermind, or whatever that looks like, I think it's just so creative. I love it. Welcome, Vernita. Vernita's a former guest. She was here for Black History Month, the show that I did around Black love. So thank you for returning. Do you have a question for our special guest, Courtney? I don't know if you were here, but she is the founder of Women in Dating. She's now also managing creators on an NFT creation platform. So she's doing all kinds of stuff.
Yes, no, thank you for having me back, Carm. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Natalie. Hi. This is like amazing. We didn't even talk about this, Carm, but this is like the perfect conversation for me to jump in.
Good.
I'm super excited to meet you, Courtney. So again, my name is Vernita Adele. I'm actually very deeply rooted in the equity and inclusion and anti-racism space. However, my background is in events. And I've gotten super excited about the metaverse. I actually just hosted my first speed dating event last Saturday in the metaverse, which is awesome. And
cool.
I know, I was like, Carl, we're going to have to do this again, because I really am a big believer in Web3, and from the standpoint of making sure to jump on it. Like, don't be afraid. It might feel intimidating, but I'm a big proponent of, so that's what I did. I jumped into a meta festival for Black History Month, the Black Meta Fest. Ended up hosting 2 events in all states, one of which was the dating event. And I really, really want to launch an NFT this year. I'm like, but I really want to launch an NFT this year. And so I guess my question would be, it was interesting to see how people's dynamics were during the dating, and people were excited to interact and make a deal, to try to potentially meet a new person or a match. What has your are more specifically in the metaverse on how people are taking to dating
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, the audio wasn't great. Can you share? Can you repeat your question?
Sure. Okay, let me know. Is this audio any better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Better? Okay.
Natalie, can you go to non-video? I'll bring you back. Thank you. I'm going to bring Kara up. She's here. Thanks,
I'm
Nat.
so excited to hear about this. Okay.
Yes.
Soon.
All right. She's my support person. And all right. Welcome, Kara. Kara, by the way, Courtney and we collaborate. She helps singles, well, not just singles, actually anybody, but she does work with my singles on getting their wardrobe and styling and getting them all beautiful in their wardrobe collection. And she has worked with other celebrities as well. We're currently, Kara, having an NFT conversation and posing some of our questions to Courtney Kovacevich, who is the founder of Women in Dating. I'm a council member there. Everybody, you can go to the womenindating.com to check out and support us. She's doing a superheroes campaign, and I didn't even know what a PFP is. Now I know the language, which is super cool. And then, Courtney, I do want to talk about your NFT too. So, Vernita, were you able to re-ask your question?
Okay, all right. Am I coming through clear now?
You got to speak up.
Okay. So the question that I had was that I just did a speed dating event in the metaverse, and it was interesting to see how people responded, being excited to potentially meet a new mate in this new space. So, Courtney, I'm just curious, both with the founding of your company and this foray into NFTs and Web3, have you found that people are kind of behaving the same or differently when it comes to the possibility of meeting dates in the metaverse?
Yeah, it's such a good question. And yeah, I think there's a lot for me to still explore and understand. It's interesting. I think sometimes, at least for myself, I forget that there's virtually two generations of people who grew up almost entirely in Minecraft and in these virtual worlds. And of course, I'm a little bit older than that. Unfortunately,
I'm raising two of those, and it's so
Yeah.
interesting to say that because my
Yeah.
my 5-year-old turning 6, she knew how to operate. Like when I get an incoming call on my cell phone, she swipes up and hits ignore. Like she's like, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so it's second nature to them, not to generalize to entire generations, but for many, it's second nature. And I think that there's something really interesting though about, how we represent ourselves in the metaverse and the communities that we build and the contributions that we make. And I think there's so much to still be defined. And I see it, for the most part in kind of two ways, which is I see the projects that are going up where you can buy land in the metaverse, like a sandbox or a Decentraland or an NFT worlds. And then I also have bought into, mostly I try to invest in female-led NFT projects, and many of them they're building towards some kind of metaverse existence or space. Women Rise is a great collection that I minted on the day it became public sale. I've supported them from day one. I love them. They're building the first school in the metaverse, and I can't say enough wonderful things about their founder, Malia. But you're right, though. I think from a behavioral perspective, there's so many interesting things to see. And it's interesting, too, because I buy projects mostly because I believe in the founder and I like their business model or their roadmap. But also, I really have to love the art. And the art, this PFP, it's basically another word for avatar, but people don't use the word avatar in NFTs. Generally, they use PFP. But that would somehow become your representation, what you are in the metaverse is really interesting. But I love that question that you asked, because I have to say, I'm not sure I've looked enough at the relationships that we form. And I think that that's a really profound and interesting question. So,
By the way, I just Googled the women. It's womenrise.art.
Yes.
It's sold out. I mean, the thing is, how do we get? I would have wanted to like buy this or get involved in it. Like, and that's so amazing. I love that. Did you help her launch this project? Is that part of the team that you were in?
I mean, I wish I could say that I did. I can say this though. I found the project very early. It was my first mint. I didn't really know about minting on the mint day. And the mint day is basically when the collection becomes available to the public or to private sale. And minting is basically buying an NFT. It's going and it's buying the NFT on the blockchain, and then that NFT sits in your wallet. But I remember getting up very early on mint day, and I minted, and I had my partner mint, and I had his brother mint, and all three of us had all of these women rise. And then we were supporting the project, and it took about a month and a half, but I woke up one day and the project went from 50% sold to sold out in 8 hours. And I had never seen anything like it in my life.
What was the sale price? What were they asking per at the time? And what's the value
Great
now?
question. They were asking for 0.07 ETH. So depending on how much ETH is, it's about
$200, about $200. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have bought 2 or 3 of those for sure.
Yeah, and like we each bought several, and then now they went all the way up to like 1.1 ETH. And that's just over, depending on how much ETH is, just over $3,000. But what I love so much about Malia's building is she's working very closely with the Malala Foundation, among other organizations, and she's building the first school in the metaverse. And her dedication and her life's work is to making education more accessible to women. And you see that in every decision that she makes, in every conversation that she has. It is wholly and entirely apparent that she will work to make sure that women have access to education globally. But there's so many great projects, and I'm like, I'm so happy to help whoever. This brings me joy.
I can see that. I can see that, and I'm lit up by it. Kara, do you think that you will? And this is a question for Kara and Courtney. Do you think that you'll be styling people in the metaverse? By the way, let me just say this: a wedding has already taken place in the metaverse, with full metaverse guests, completely digitized, and the rendering of that entire wedding, including the venue, was meant to mimic the real life wedding that was going on, but it allowed those who were outside of the wedding to feel like they're really participating in the wedding and the vows, like in real time. And Vernita, in answer to your question, I do agree with Courtney. We're probably super early and new at how people are dating inside the metaverse. I do think my opinion here is I think people are going to be more confident in the metaverse than in real life, just because you've got this, you can almost put your alter ego in it. And I've also heard in the metaverse, in some dating platforms, using AI or using the goggles, people are actually dating fully different than, it's kind of like Love is Blind. You are your personality, but you're existing through your avatar. And your avatar is it's your fantasy body. It's your fantasy being. It's your ideal version of yourself, who you think that is. And you are being yourself. And the point of it, Vernita, they're never, ever, ever to meet in real life. It's literally to develop a relationship. I know Kara's like, what's the point of that? Some people like to role play, right? So Kara, do you think you'll be into or looking into styling people in the metaverse?
I don't know. Like, it's still like a interesting concept to me, and so I get it, but I kind of don't get it. Like, I was on TikTok the other day, and I saw a guy who was filming his roommate who was on a date with someone he had like the little Oculus things on, and he's like doing this to her. weird. I was just like, is that what we're going with this? Like, I'm trying to piece it all together about what exactly all of this even means and how it shows up. But when you talked about the wedding, that makes sense, especially for like, we're still tapering off the end of COVID, like people who wouldn't be able to attend a wedding. That would be really cool. That, and
Yes.
I don't know, is she wearing a dress that's an actual dress or is it a picture of a dress? Like,
Exactly.
I'm still learning about all this stuff, so I don't know.
Also, there was a listener on stage or in the audience. I'm still learning the terminology. Daniel, did you have a question for Courtney?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can hear me okay, right?
Yes, we can. Thank you for coming to the room and supporting the women. You're a brave man.
It's not a problem. Well, first of all, a friend of mine actually sent me onto this page because I'm actually a single divorced guy actually who, is actually looking to start over because I'm the type of guy who's determined and seen that, first of all, dating apps don't work. Been through the scams, been through the annoyances, and been through everything. But I was told that this would be a good place to probably get some ideas. But the other thing is I have a friend of mine. She's actually been putting out NFTs now, and we've a couple friends of mine. They've got an Oculus program on another station, and they were trying to determine. They said you should when you buy an NFT, make sure it's a reliable source of an NFT. How can you determine it is a reliable, legit source you're buying an NFT from?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it is really important. There's to use another acronym. They have in NFTs, it's DYOR, like do your own research. So I can't strongly recommend enough researching the founders, making sure I like a project that has a roadmap, meaning that the founders have put together at least the foundational pieces of a business plan, which is really what a roadmap is, and that they're also this thing called doxed, which means that they have represented themselves of who they are outside of decentralized Web3 space. They have their name, maybe their first name, and you know their background, because you're right. There are, as in any industry, there are frauds and scams, and certainly people that are looking to take advantage of this massive growth. To give you context, in 2020, the trading volume for NFTs was 250 million. And last year it was 23 billion. That's a 7,000% increase. So with opportunity definitely comes people that want to take advantage of that. But if you learn about the founders, if you learn about the artists, if you like the roadmap, if you've talked to people that you trust about the project, and also if you enjoy the art, I think that you want to love the art. It becomes part of your sort of existence and your participation in Web3. So I always encourage people to also, like the art or like the utility of the NFT. Then those are good ways to make decisions on what to collect. Yeah.
I love that. Did that answer your question? Did that answer your question, Daniel? Hold on. Daniel, you can unmute.
Thank you. It did answer my question on that. Thank you very much. But and I do have some questions to Carmilla about what you actually do about the whole matching program and everything like that. Because I know I guess you could say I'm the type of guy who's been through the ringer and then been wrung out.
I'll tell you what.
Again.
Natalie, who is part of my team, she's right beside me. You can see her avatar. If you DM me, or anybody who's listening, DM me the word single on my Instagram, you will be able to chat with my love bot, and I'll be able to schedule some time with you to chat about that. Or you can wait towards the end of the show. We're going to wrap up in about 10 minutes. I have a few more people to chat with, and we can absolutely connect. Or you can connect on Natalie's beautiful face, send her a message through the platform, And we will more than happy to help you out, Daniel. Thank you. That's the reason we have Matchmaker Monday, is to ask the matchmaker a question. So stick around. I will answer your question right at the end.
Not a problem.
Yeah, perfect.
I will wait till we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Deanna's here. Courtney, you mentioned a creator or a person early on that you helped through women in dating. It was something after the rebound or beyond rebound. What was the name of her company?
Yes, it's Lavagna Reeves, and her company is Rebound Lovers.
Rebound Lovers. Okay. Now, is that a blog that she's operating, or is she a matchmaker?
It's a site for people that are finding love after a relationship, but I do also believe she creates content, and it serves as a content source, a blog as well.
Got you. Okay, great. Well, Deanna, can you share with our audience more about you, what you do? I think you do some really important work, and I believe you also have a show here on Fireside. So if you'd like just to take a moment to share that with our audience as an important resource, especially honoring Women's Tomorrow, International Women's Day, because women go through a lot of struggle, and in your particular case, how you serve women is so important. So go ahead.
So I work in the area of coaching women after intimate partner violence and helping them go from trauma to triumph, and just recognizing that there's hope, that there's laughter after this period in their life, right? And not to identify themselves with the things that they've been through, but to understand that they can really just feel home within themselves again. And so that's pretty much the goal in a nutshell. The NFT world is this stuff that you guys talk. Whoosh, it goes over my head a little bit. I used to play Yoville a really long time ago. I mean, that's about all I got when it comes to NFTs. But I'm curious about it because I would love to be able to figure out a way to contribute in that arena, to have something that women have as a reference. I have 5 keys that I use with women in coaching them, that get them back to self-love, that walk them through the things that they need to address so that they can help to heal from this trauma. And I feel like there's got to be a way to create something with that as well. But my show tomorrow, on every Tuesday, is called Laughter After Trauma. And mostly it focuses on women who have been through intimate partner violence. But I also have guests that come on that have had other traumas as well, because I do feel like trauma is trauma. And tomorrow, our guest is a 3-time Olympian. Well, she's a Paralympian, and she is also a gold medalist. So she has a really interesting story and a lot of things that she's overcome. So it's 7 p.m. tomorrow. If you guys want to follow, you guys would probably love this. She is a kick. Talk about laughter after trauma. Okay. She's a mess. And she has a group that she does called Spin Positive, because she's in a wheelchair. So that's her, her thing. But anyway, so that's what I have going on tomorrow. Also, Courtney, if there's a way that I could contribute, I went onto your page, I signed up for your newsletter. If there's anything that I can do to contribute, let me know, because I'd be more than happy to be a part of that. I know that for a lot of people, there is a cycle that gets created if you've dealt with sexual abuse. Then you grow up and you wind up in an abusive relationship, and then that generational thing just continues to perpetuate. I know that dating apps tend to be a place where women are targeted if they have children. And so it is an area that I really appreciate the fact that there are people like Carmelia involved, like real life people that can say, here, let me teach you how to do this the right way. Let me teach you how to do it the safe way, because there are ways that aren't safe. And so if there's anything in that arena for either of you guys, and I can contribute to it, just let me know. It's a true passion.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so much. We're so much better for all of these incredible women that partner with us and collaborate, because then we can do more good work. And that's certainly our mission. So thank you so much. I will definitely take you up on that.
Yes. Courtney, I think, do you have an application form or sort of I think there's a form on Women in Dating that invites people if they want to collaborate or whatnot, that they can do the outreach, correct?
Yes, there's a couple buttons on the website. Join us or find out more information. Those all go to me. You can also email me at Courtney, Courtney, at womenindating.com. You can email me about partnering. You can email me about writing an article or contributing content. Also, if you know a superhero who should be recognized and appreciated for the value that she brings to making our community better, I would love to recognize as many women as I can. And then, of course, if you have NFT questions, it is, again, an extension of my work with Women in Dating, is to make sure that this space that we're moving into, the transformational stuff that are happening into Web 2 to Web 3, I want to make sure that women are part of building that. And we will only be part of building that if we take action right now, like this moment, while it's all starting. And so if I can help, we'll be better for that. So,
well, Courtney, as we're wrapping up your segment, I'll stay on a little bit longer for my other guests, and you're more than welcome to hang out with us. I know you're super busy. I will get with you on doing a talk here on Fireside, not on Matchmaker Monday, but definitely all about NFT and Web3 and how we can get more women to that conversation, because that in itself is an entire show on its own. And I would love to do that. And we can bring some of your creators, or even if you have the relationship with the woman who did Women on the Rise, I'd love to have her here and we could talk about what that took and some takeaways and, inspiring other women to get into that art world. So I would love that.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. I can't thank you enough for having me. And I'm so grateful for your contributions as a council member and your reaching out and giving Women in Dating the chance to reach more women and more allies and more friends of women. And so, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh. No problem, Courtney. We are streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, I believe on LinkedIn. I hope my stream key worked and all that. And once this is done, I definitely want to share this with our community and our women and reach more faces and voices. And follow Courtney on LinkedIn, wherever she's at. What are your socials? Do you want to just give a shout out for women who might look to you for inspiration for all the things you're up to?
Sure. I feel like it's dark where I am. Sorry.
It's dark, yeah.
Somehow become very dark here. I look like I'm in a cave.
I think it was like the sun was slowly setting because she's in LA.
Yeah.
It's getting dark.
I do the Earth rotation calculations and where I'm sitting.
I think we need like a glass of water or something. That's so funny.
It's so funny. So you can find me on LinkedIn. Courtney, my last name's Kovacevich. You can also find Women in Dating. I can connect with you there. My handle on Twitter is at Kovacevich, Kovacevich. I'm so lucky I have my last name as my handle. And then my Instagram is at KovacevichC. So any of those ways you can find me. And I can keep you up to date on what's happening in all the projects that I'm working on. And then also, of course, Women in Dating. And we're just launching Women in Dating Social toward the end of this month. So you'll see some content coming from them, soon.
Social is my middle name, so I can't. I love it. Thanks so much, Courtney. Stay with us. I'm going to turn off the video to bring our friends in. I loved that conversation. She's up to so much. And her photo, by the way, is her NFT. We didn't get to talk about that, but I know she's creating a bunch for women. So Kara, welcome. I work with Kara. She's her own style icon. She does a ton of things. Let me know, when it comes to style and women, what are maybe some real general style tips that women should consider when they are wanting to take leadership roles, when they are wanting to be recognized and acknowledged? Because there's this fine line, Kara, between women who are, say, entrepreneurs, and as an entrepreneur, and I employ myself, I can wear what I want. Like,
Right.
however, whatever I wear still has an impression, a statement, a whatnot. Whereas in corporate world, and sometimes where women are looking for that recognition or the climb up the ladder or the opportunities, what can you share about those dressing tips and image tips that would be important to give someone the edge? And I've done research, by the way, on this, ladies and gents who are here, thanks to the gentlemen who are here. Those aesthetics, unfortunately, still play a role in corporate world, and I think it's still true in every capacity. And looking the part does make a difference. Sometimes employers will just hire somebody based on, if they're two people, the candidates hand back to back, they'll sometimes hire the attractive person or whatever who seems to be attractive or more well dressed. So what comment can you share about that, and how much, creative control can we as women take if we want to exercise our femininity and maybe wear something that's a little more revealing? Because it's like, why should men fantasize about me or sexualize me? I should wear whatever I want, whenever I want, and still get those opportunities. Tell me more about that.
Well, I think you have to consider what industry you're in, for one. If you're in a more conservative industry like law, like banking, associations, politics, things like that, you want to kind of keep it down a little bit. Like, we're not going to walk in there with the girls out. You don't want to have too short of a skirt, all those things. If you want to be taken seriously, I mean, if you don't care, then you can wear whatever the heck you want, and there it is. But if you want to be able to be taken seriously and be consistent with that, then you have to it is what it is, right? So you want to buy the best quality that you can afford with whatever you're buying. You want to stick to, like, especially in the conservative, stick to navy blues, stick to dark black, those things. And then how you can show your personality is in, like, your jewelry or your shoes. You don't obviously want to wear stripper heels, right? You want to keep the heels down a little bit too. And you don't want to be overly made up because that just sends a message of something else that you don't want to be giving, right? If you're in a creative, like PR, or if you're at an agency where you, like William Morris or one of those, like you're dealing with artists and you're dealing with influencers and actors and those things, you can be a little more fun and have some prints and things like that. But a lot of times you want to stick to style when you're talking about conservative industry.
Oh, I think Tiffany's. Oh, there's Anita. Hold on. Hey, Tiffany, are you with us? You're unmuted.
With the avocado lime ranch.
Yeah, that's
having some good food.
That sounds like a nice dinner, but
I think you can mute her. You can mute.
I did. She came up to stage. Yes, sorry about that. Renita, I think you had another. Did you have another comment, or you wanted to share? I can't hear you.
I did. Am I frozen?
No, we can hear. Your audio is super faint tonight.
Really
it was super low.
I don't know what's happening. Okay, sorry about that. I'll try to turn it as best I can.
That's better.
Okay.
I'm looking at my frozen image here, so I'm like, okay, we'll just go.
You're not frozen on our end, but you can just look at yourself frozen.
But I love that. Well, one, I was going to tap in, as far as Kara and the whole, like, plethora of things that are coming. I think everything that you just shared about leadership roles also applies to the metaverse. How you show up in your avatar totally gives an impression about how serious you want to be taken, or just the person you want to be. I'm super excited. I would love for us to chat offline about wearables, because creating clothing in the metaverse that is absolutely a thing. But to your point, Carm, my only other comment was going to be, I too am an entrepreneur, and I think that it's important that we find, if we're going to be in corporate spaces or working with clients, who we want to show up as clients is just as important as where we are in the workplace. And like we can really be allies for one another. So I think that women can do even greater opportunities to support one another in the workplaces or as clients with the things that we wear, and just kind of reminding people that we have our own personalities to show, so that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover too quickly. So let's get under the hood and really see what the women founders are about.
Right. And
Yeah.
you do want to be careful about what you're wearing when you're not working with people, right? Just running to the grocery store. Don't be in your pajamas, hello, because a potential client could be right there. You have no idea who you're going to see.
Oh, I found that out the hard way.
You don't want to be in
Sometimes,
a ball gown. But
you know, when you are, and this is what's unfortunate sometimes for the celebrity females that are out there that just want to, you know, the media paparazzi catches them in their normal day, because we don't all wake up with eyelashes and lipstick, and well, I don't. Sometimes only if I drank too much the night before, that's when I wake up with it. But most times, you know, it's fresh face and looking like me, my natural me, and they like to capture these, she looks like this, she's unattractive. It's like, come on, you know. I just,
whatnot.
what's that?
Good hopping out the bushes catching you, you know.
I know. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, listen, it was this time went by so quickly. I would love to know, Kara, how can our friends reach you as a resource? And let's just give each other a shout out to where our friends can find you. So let's start with Kara.
You can find me everywhere on Clubhouse, Fireside, Instagram, Pinterest. I'm at Kara Allen on everything. Allen is Allan, not En. You'll get the wrong person. And then on Snapchat, I'm Kara Allen Bella. That's the one place I couldn't get my whole name. So,
Got it.
and my website.
It's always got to be that one person that took that name. Right?
Like, hello, I've been the only Kara out because I made up my last name. I literally, it's not my maiden name, it's not my married name. I made it up. So I'm like, how's anybody have my last name? So, but one person apparently.
Exactly. Deanna?
I am at Deanna Wellness, pretty much everywhere. So easy enough.
And
I
on
use my last
Fireside,
name.
you guys. So give her a follow. She does an incredible show here. I have to mark my calendar. You got to get me on there so that I can support you. And then Vernita?
Okay, thank you so much again for having me, Carm. So I am at Vernita Adele on most platforms. Just drop the white, Vernita Adele, first and last name, Instagram, Clubhouse, all of the platforms. And I would say tap in. Anything that you're doing around equity and inclusion, fashion, or events, and the metaverse, I'm your girl.
Oh my God, you got to invite me to that speed dating thing in the metaverse. And I got to get on the metaverse, and I'm going to get with Courtney to tap in with her on all of that and invite her back. So thanks so much, ladies. Thank you to everyone in the audience who came in. We're going to share this out. Next week's conversation, I'll be doing Matchmaker Monday again. I do not know who my special guest is, but if you do follow me, I will absolutely, have you in. It's Women's History Month this year, this month. So I definitely want to, if you have some nominations or recommendations of some women you'd like me to interview, that would be cool too. Every week we have back some regulars. Kara's going to give us our regular style tips. Christine, makeup. She was not available today, but we will have our regular guest of the show here.